Today's tech news moves fast, but understanding it shouldn't be hard. That's why Snarful Solutions Group brings you Connecting the Dots, where we break down what's happening in tech and why it matters to you. Now, let's dive in with your hosts.
Welcome to Connecting the Dots. I'm Alex.
And I'm Morgan, and a very good morning to you.
We're glad you're with us. It is Monday, December 15th, 2025, and we're coming to you from a very foggy Sacramento, California.
Yeah, definitely foggy. The high today is barely going to hit 50 degrees, so it's a cool start to the week.
For sure. And if you're out east of Lake Erie in Ontario, you're dealing with that heavy lake effect snow, so please stay warm.
And to everyone in the Pacific Northwest, that atmospheric river is no joke. Heavy rain, gusty winds. Keep an eye out for potential flooding.
Definitely. Okay, let's take a quick look at the markets. They closed on Friday with, I'd say, a mixed but pretty resilient feel.
Right. The Dow Jones was down just a little, 0.17%, but the weekly trend was still positive, which is good to see.
And the S&P 500 was pretty similar, closing down about 0.30% for the day.
But then you have Bitcoin. It sort of bucked that trend.
It did. It closed up almost a full percent at $89,017. Still down for the week, but hey, we'll take that daily momentum.
We will. So before we jump into the two big stories we've been tracking for you, we want to thank our sponsor.
That's right, Old Glory. If you have a techie friend who's also into, sports or music, this is the perfect place for holiday gifts. They're the iconic merch store for fans.
It's a great spot. You can head over to oldglory.com, and when you check out, use the promo code SNARFL to get 15% off your entire purchase.
All right, let's connect some dots. We've been going through the Snarful Tech article report, what we call the Morning Star, and today we're looking at two huge stories.
They really show two different sides of the tech economy, don't they?
They really do. First, we're going to break down the, frankly, shocking financial incentives behind Meta's advertising platform.
And then we'll pivot to NVIDIA and its really aggressive new strategy to dominate the open source AI market.
It's a tale of two giants. One seems to be prioritizing profit over user safety, and the other is trying to redefine the whole game through transparency.
Exactly. Let's start with Meta. So we're talking about Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. New internal documents have come out, and they paint a really troubling picture.
Troubling is putting it lightly. These documents suggest Meta is making billions with a B from fraudulent ads.
The numbers are just staggering. I mean, internal projections showed Meta expected to make about 10% of its 2024 revenue from ads for scams and banned goods.
Wait, let's put a dollar figure on that. That's roughly $16 billion.
$16 billion. And, the exposure for users is just as mind-blowing. The platforms show an estimated 15 billion high-risk scam ads every single day.
15 billion a day. That's a tidal wave of fraud.
And it is hitting people's wallets hard. Fraud losses in the U.S. shot past $12.5 billion in 2024. That's a 25% jump in just 1 year.
And social media is the main pipeline for this, right?
It really is. Scams that started on social media platforms accounted for almost $2 billion in losses last year. And Meta's own internal analysis confirmed their products were involved in about a third of all successful scams in the U.S.
Okay, so that leads to the obvious question. If the problem is this huge, why aren't they stopping it?
Well, this is where it gets really cynical. It all comes down to the internal mechanics of their ad system.
It's the profit motive laid bare. Their system is apparently set up to only ban an advertiser if there's a 95% certainty of fraud.
95%. Think about how high that bar is. Anything below that, the bad actor just gets to stay on the platform.
But they don't just stay. It's worse than that.
It is. Instead of removing them, Meta, they penalize them by charging them higher ad rates.
So they're still profiting. In fact, they're profiting more from the sketchy advertiser than a legitimate one.
Exactly. You just hit the nail on the head. They've made fraud a more expensive, but still totally viable cost of doing business for scammers.
So just to be crystal clear, instead of protecting their users from harm, they're just charging the source of that harm a premium.
That's right. And it creates this perverse incentive. The internal documents even showed that their trust and safety teams had specific limits on how much revenue they were allowed to lose by kicking off suspicious accounts.
Unbelievable. And it gets even worse for the person who's just scrolling through their feed, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. That's what they call the worsening trap. If you accidentally click on one of those scam ads, maybe you're just curious, the algorithm tags you.
It tags you as interested.
Yep. And then, because the whole system is designed to maximize engagement and revenue, it starts feeding you even more similar fraudulent ads. It's a feedback loop from hell.
It basically helps the scammers find their most vulnerable targets.
Precisely. Now, in fairness, we have to note that a Meta spokesman, Andy Stone, he did push back. He said the $16 billion estimate was rough and overly inclusive.
Okay. And he also pointed out that they've reduced user reports of scam ads globally by 58% over the last 18 months.
Which is a real number, and we should include that context.
Yeah.
But the fact that these internal revenue guardrails for safety teams exist, to me, that speaks louder than any public statement.
It does. It raises that huge question about platform responsibility. So until that's sorted out, the responsibility really falls on you, the listener. What is the single most important thing someone can do to protect themselves?
Okay, first, just be vigilant. If a price looks too good to be true, it is. Look for brand new accounts with no history, no followers. Those are all red flags. But the real line of defense is how you pay.
Credit card, not a debit card.
Say it again. Always use a credit card for any purchase you make through a social media ad.
Why is that so critical?
Because with a credit card, your maximum liability for fraud is legally capped at $50, and most companies just waive it entirely.
Yeah.
They investigate, they handle the chargeback, and your actual money stays safe.
Whereas with a debit card, that cash is gone from your checking account instantly.
And getting it back is a nightmare. The protections are much weaker. So protect your cash. Use a credit card.
And if you do get scammed,
Contact your bank or credit card company immediately. Then report it to the FTC at reportfraud.ftc.gov. That helps them track these operations.
that is such a critical takeaway. It's frustrating that we have to be this defensive, but it's the world we live in.
It is. Okay, let's shift gears completely. From consumer risk to the cutting edge of enterprise technology. Our second story is about NVIDIA.
Right. So NVIDIA, everyone knows them for their chips, their GPUs that power basically the entire AI world.
Well, now they're getting into the software side. They've just launched a new family of open source AI models called Nemotron 3.
And this puts them in direct competition with models like Meta's Llama, right?
Thankfully. It is, I have to say, a brilliant strategic hedge. NVIDIA isn't just content being the arms dealer for the AI revolution anymore. They want to be one of the architects.
So they're protecting themselves in case rivals like Google start making their own chips that are just as good.
Exactly. And at the same time, they're trying to define what the next generation of AI for businesses should even look like.
Okay, so Nemotron 3 comes in different sizes, nano, super, ultra, but the real story here is the technology underneath it all.
That's where the breakthrough is. They're using something called a hybrid latent mixture of experts architecture. We can just call it MOE.
MOE, okay. And why is that so important?
Because it's the key to building something called agentic AI.
Agentic AI, that sounds very sci-fi. Bring that down for us.
So think about today's AI. It's usually one giant model, like a single brain trying to do everything. Agentic AI is different. It's more like a team of specialized AI agents that all work together on complex, multi-step tasks.
So instead of one brain, it's a team of expert brains.
You got it. So instead of asking one AI to, say, plan a marketing campaign, you'd have one agent do the research, another write the copy, a third agent handle the budget. You get the idea.
I do. And this MOE architecture is what makes that team work efficiently.
That's the whole point. With a traditional model, when you ask a question, the whole giant brain has to wake up and process it. With MOE, only the specific experts needed for that task get activated.
So it uses way less computational power.
Which means it costs way less money.
And cost is measured in tokens, right? Token throughput and reasoning tokens. This is the accounting of AI.
It is. And it matters hugely to a business's bottom line. Every little piece of information an AI generates is a token. Complex tasks can take hundreds of AI calls.
Yeah.
And those token costs just explode.
So how much of a difference does this new architecture make?
It's huge. The Nemotron 3 nano model gets up to 4 times higher token throughput, so 4 times faster processing, and it cuts the cost of generating reasoning tokens by up to 60%.
Wow, for a big company running millions of AI processes, that's millions of dollars in savings.
It's a game changer for costs. So NVIDIA is solving the biggest barrier to adopting next-gen AI, which is the price. A very smart move.
It is, and they're also making a big deal about transparency.
Yeah, this is another key part of the strategy. They're not just releasing the models. They're releasing the trillions of tokens of training data they use to build them. They're going for true open source status.
Which is a direct shot at Meta.
It is. Meta's Llama models have kind of stagnated a bit. And there are all these signals that their next big model codenamed Avocado might be closed source.
So as Meta potentially pulls back from being open, NVIDIA is rushing in to fill that vacuum.
And businesses are noticing. Major players like Accenture, CrowdStrike, Deloitte, they're already integrating Nematron 3. They need that trust and efficiency.
So it sets up this fascinating contrast for the next year. You have Meta focusing on proprietary consumer tech and NVIDIA championing open, cost-effective enterprise tech.
And what's interesting is how it will affect you, the listener. NVIDIA making AI cheaper and more efficient means the automated tools you use every day, from customer service bots to your software, are about to get a lot faster and a lot smarter.
Very cool. Okay, before we wrap things up, we need to give a quick shout out to our other sponsor.
That's Skony, the premium golf shoe store. If you're a golfer or know someone who is, you really have to check out their stuff.
You do. Head over to skony.com and just like before, use the promo code SNARFL at checkout for 15% off your entire purchase.
Okay, so a quick recap of the two big takeaways from today. First, the economics of Meta's ad platform are troubling. It means you have to be vigilant, and please, use a credit card, not a debit card. It's your best defense.
And second, NVIDIA is making a huge strategic play to lead enterprise AI. They're launching the super efficient Nematron 3 models to make that next generation of agentic AI much faster and, crucially, much cheaper to run.
The thread connecting both stories is really about incentives, isn't it?
It really is. Whether it's the incentive to profit from fraud or the incentive to dominate a new market through efficiency, understanding what drives these companies is key.
We're here to help at Snarful, so reach out on our website if you have any more questions.
That's a wrap on today's top stories. Remember, tech doesn't have to be complicated, and we're here to help connect the dots. If you've got questions or want to learn more, visit us at snarful.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.